Sharpie found a way to make pens more cheaply by manufacturing them in the U.S. So if you ever use Sharpie, here's what Sharpie is doing now, okay? And they're making a lot of money, by the way, doing this. Tucked in foothills of Tennessee's Smoky Mountain is a factory that has figured out to manufacture in America that's cheaper, quicker, and better. It's the home of a famous American writing implement, the Sharpie marker. Pen barrels whirl along automated assembly lines that rapidly fill them in ink. At least 500 million Sharpie markers are churned out here every year. Each one made of 6 parts. Only the felt tip is important from Japan. It didn't used to be this way. Back in 2018, many Sharpies were made abroad. That's when Chris Peterson, who was the CFO of Sharpie maker Newell Brands, challenged his team to answer a question: how could they keep Newell from becoming obsolete compared with factories in Asia? I felt like we had an opportunity to dramatically improve our U.S. manufacturing. He said Peterson is now the CEO, and these days, most Sharpies in all 93 colors are made at this 37-year-old factory. Tom, your thoughts on the story?
This is an example of what happens when leadership says, you know what? I want the jobs to be here. Why shouldn't we? Can we do it right here? It's easy to outsource. It's easy to do that. And the free market says you can do that. But he gave them a challenge. Can we do it here? Can we do it? Can we put American ingenuity to work and make it happen? And now he's done it. And now they're in the process of bringing back, because he did some of it overseas, there is a type of highlighter that is that smear guard, we got them right here, which are coming back. This one's going to come back to the U.S. And I think it's a great example of when you decide, or you may not always be able to do it, but this is a leader that says, here we are in this factory. I don't want to be a hollowed out factory in this little country town to say, hey man, they used to make Sharpies over there. Now they're in Vietnam. He says, I want to challenge us to do it. And along the way, they started making a custom Sharpie about 6 years ago for some guy named Donald Trump. So you see those longer, and they have a certain width tip. Do you know what that is? That's a custom Sharpie. When he was here and he signed the wall, he gave it to Pat. And it's
some office.
So I think it's a great story of leadership, and it turned out that they were able to do it. I don't think every industry is going to be able to say, hey, let's just do it here. I think there's certain realities of cost or sourcing certain components that just will fight against you. You're not going to be able to do it. But I think this is really cool to see an American company say, hey, we're going to do it.
Eric, your thoughts?
I think it's terrific. It's what every responsible CEO should be doing. He should be petitioning his workforce, saying, how can we become more efficient? I don't know the details of how they did it, but I'm guessing they're automating. Patrick, I'm guessing they're eliminating human beings, and they're having AI-driven machine manufacturing, which, you can call it a job, Brandon, here in the United States, but if a human being isn't actually performing the job, I'm not sure you should count it as a job. Look, I'm all for technology moving forward. When the free market gets messed with, and I think part of this, it may be in response to Trump's tariffs, I don't know, but everyone should be doing it anyway to reduce their costs. It doesn't strike me as something that everyone can do. If they have the capital to do it, they should do it anyway, I guess. And you want to be the biggest boost to U.S. economy, manufacturing-wise, just bring it to zero, the corporate repatriation of funds. You're a big international company. It's overseas. It had gotten as high as 35%. So you earn your profit overseas, and it's sitting in an England bank account, because that's where you do a lot of your sales in Europe. To bring it back to the United States, even if you're domiciled in the United States, they were charging companies 35%. Trump has gotten it down some, but if you're going to pay taxes over there already, you bring it back here, tax paid already. You want to see upside. There's where manufacturing plants get purchased.
Check me on this. I thought Apple's largest bank account was Ireland or in the UK, related to the Ireland deal that they did on manufacturing over there. But Apple had to your point, didn't Apple have like this massive Ireland deal?
They all do. They have trillions. There's something like $5 trillion of U.S. domiciled corporations with that $5 trillion sitting in foreign bank accounts, and they can't bring it back because they've been taxed on it already as a company, wherever they were, wherever the sales were happening. And to bring it back another 35% at some parts. So this playing games with the tax code, really, it doesn't sit well with me personally.
Brandon.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And I guess the problem is that with the jobs overseas is that like the natural cycle of things. Ray Dalio made this great video, got like 40 million views about the cycles that goes, and where when your country gets richer, your citizens require higher wages, so naturally you offshore your jobs to be able to build things more cheaply and affordably. But that ends up growing that country and making that country the next powerhouse. So the way, like, how do we offset that or slow that down? I do think automation is a good thing in that regard. If we could offset the amount of jobs that we send overseas or the jobs that we create overseas, like in China, like we create a superpower in China because of that cycle, but China shot itself in the foot because of messing with the market. Yeah, to your point, like they stopped people from having kids. So I think they delayed taking the superpower status.
Can you imagine if Trump or whoever, by the way, I have zero faith in Howard Lutnick. I don't think he could come up with this. I don't think he rubbed two brain cells together to figure this out. But Tom, if you're a corporate CEO with, $10 billion in a German bank, right? It costs you 35%. Maybe it's down to 25% under Trump right now. What if Trump were to come to you and say, hey, Tom, domicile, bring that $10 billion, $20 billion back to the United States, zero cost to do it, no tax on it whatsoever, as long as you earmark half of it for capital investment in a U.S.-based entity, hiring Americans.
So if I've got no international, you're saying that it's trapped over there because of my international sales.
Correct.
Got it. Yeah.
And you pay taxes on it in that foreign country already.
Yeah, I paid taxes on it in Germany. So I sell a bunch of stuff in Germany, pay my taxes on the money's sitting in the bank. But if I bring it back over here, the U.S. government says, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to tax 35% of that. So it's almost like it's a toll charge just to bring the money back. If you let me bring it back to zero, I'm going to, and you say I have to earmark so much of it for capital. Guess what?
I do it.
It's coming back.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to invest back here in the U.S. with it.
Capital investment and human investment too, because likely you're going to need people unless you come back.
It's
here
one of those things people
robotics.
don't know about, how money gets trapped around the world and it could come back and do good. But the individual jurisdictions, countries, and her name von der Leyen, who wants to keep all the money in Europe.
Yeah, I agree with that, and I do think that would be a good use of capital rather than going to the government, going to jobs. But I mean, I would want to make sure that they stay true to that. Like, when the government bailed out the banks in 2008, they said, yeah, with contingent upon you giving that out and lending it to stimulate the economy. They didn't lend it; they gave it to themselves. So I would want to make sure that we upheld that. But yeah, I just think that to maintain superpower status and to maintain a strong middle class, that we have to be mindful and put a lot of thought and energy into keeping jobs here and not offshoring jobs, because that helps large companies, that doesn't help the middle class, and it doesn't put America in a position of strength.
You know what I like? Here's what I like. I like the fact that there's case studies like this that could inspire somebody else to say, let's see if we could do something better here. That's what I like. It's a case study. You got it. Sharpie, phenomenal. I'm online looking at their headquarters, looking at a bunch of different stuff. You go on their website, it tells the history of what Sharpie did and how it got started. I love it. I love hearing stories like this of other business owners that this. Can you imagine you build a marker company? Can you go to Sharpie's website? If you just go to Sharpie.com, and are you on Sharpie.com?
Yep.
Yeah. I went to Sharpie.com, and then on Sharpie.com, this is by far why I love. Go to the About Us if you could, Rob. There's a page here that says About Us. I don't know if you have
top,
it or not.
Oh, yeah.
About Sharpie.
Look at this. Brief history. 1857. Guy, what's his name? Let's give him a shout out real quick.
Frederick Reddington. And William Sanford.
Okay, so go lower, open up a factory, then it grows a little bit, keep going a little bit lower, and keeps growing, whatever that product is. Then you got the additional stuff they do in 1899. Then the ink company that comes out. Then the Sharpies that they come out 1930 to 1964. Then it gets more colorful. Then all of a sudden, all over the place. And then today, it's a company that sold 500 million of these Sharpies per year. How sick is capitalism? Don't you love it? I absolutely love it. Imagine how many people this guy employed in the foothills of, Tennessee, Smoky Mountains. It's great. Gang, before we get into it, two things. Number one, see this shirt I'm wearing with the Valuetainment logo here and the future looks bright? I have probably 30 shirts in my closet. My wife says, babe, these shirts are my favorites. When you wear them once, okay, you're going to see how it feels, how smooth it is. You're going to feel like someone's hugging you all day, telling you how awesome you are, okay? If you haven't yet ordered, I think some of the sizes are gone, but we do still have some left. This is the business show that we're talking about here. You got them in white with the gold logo, Future Looks Bright, on the bottom of the shirt. You got them in black, which looks great, and you got them in blue. Black goes with gold, and we have the blue as well. You may as well order all three of them if you are somebody that's in business and you're regularly wearing business shirts. And then we got some of that blue jacket that's left and that whole business series that's going to be there. Now, you can go to vtmerch.com to place your order. Number two, if you're with us right now and you're an entrepreneur, small business owner, we have a circle on Manek dedicated to just business owners. Okay, it's going to be called the PBD. It's called the PBD Entrepreneur Circle. There's a ton of networking going on there. If you haven't yet joined the circle, download the app. Go to PBD Entrepreneur Circle, get in there. We're talking ideas, notes, PDFs, different things that I do. I post all this stuff in here, and you can join for free to see what we're talking about. And if you want to be able to network and message each other, it's $5 a month for you guys to be able to talk to each other in that circle. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.